Plus with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Police in Worcester, Massachusetts are investigating the death of an off-duty officer in what they describe as a domestic affair.
Authorities in Worcester, Massachusetts are searching for Karen Solomon, who police say was at the home of the 31-year veteran officer where he was found dead. The president of the local police union identified the officer as Kurt Solomon. Records show the Solomons owned the home, but police have not described the relationship between the two. Karen Solomon is also the co-founder of First Help, a group focused on mental health for first responders. Local, state, and federal agencies are involved in the search, and authorities say Karen Solomon may be armed. I'm Marcela Sanchez.
NASA has spotted a new crater on the moon. This one created when a SpaceX rocket crashed. A defunct part of a Falcon 9 rocket slammed into the moon uncontrolled this month at an estimated 5,400 miles an hour. And NASA says it has photos. Breaking news at townhall.com. The administration is moving now to change long-standing forest regulations. Willie Nelson has a report.
The Agriculture Department is proposing to rescind the 2001 Roadless Area Conservation Rule. The rule has blocked logging roads and mining on nearly 59 million acres of national forests. Officials say lifting the ban will give local managers more authority to improve forest health and reduce wildfire risk. Environmental groups oppose the change and argue it could increase fire danger. Willie Nelson, the White House.
Millions more people may soon be able to get small, lightweight Amazon packages delivered by drones by the end of the year. Amazon says it will expand its airborne shipping to suburban areas to nearly 500 U.S. cities. The drones can carry packages of up to about 5 pounds. Amazon says customers could receive the drone deliveries as fast as 30 minutes. It also intensifies the competition between Amazon and Walmart as to who can deliver packages the fastest. More of these stories at Town Hall.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good afternoon. I almost did the morning. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Boy, do we have a terrific show for you today. Samira Hardcastle, the very brave teacher who called out Metro Nashville Public Schools for any number of things, is here in studio. We'll get to her in just a moment. It's time now for The Rundown, brought to you every weekday at this time by our very good friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here is The Rundown for Wednesday, August 19th, 2026. Number one, primary results from Alaska and Florida. Looks like Dan Sullivan won the Republican nomination, the incumbent, despite the phony Dan Sullivan they threw in there. And then, Marion Peltola, I think that's her name, will be the Democrat. I think Sullivan will hold that seat. In Florida, Byron Daniels won the gubernatorial nomination. I think he will sail to victory there. And then a couple of, Corey Mills lost. He was under, all sorts of investigations. And another Democrat who was under investigation lost. Number two, a big mistake in a debate last night by Senator Darlene Graham. She couldn't mention anything about foreign policy. Do your homework, Darlene. I think Ralph Norman will win that special election. Number three, Tom Papper joins us at the bottom of the hour with an update on the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case, and we'll talk about why is the local media or the national media not paying attention to our Covenant victory. Number four, Judson Phillips joins us in our second hour. And of course, we are delighted to welcome to our microphones a very, very brave person, a recently resigned teacher from Metro Nashville Public Schools, Samira Hardcastle. Samira, it is a delight to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Well, we'll get to you in just a minute. Right now, it's time to talk about our friends at the Glock Store, which is a sponsor of this program. I talk all the time about the Glock Store. They're right here in Nashville, Tennessee. They are the home for Second Amendment practitioners in the USA. Saturday, September 19th, they're having an incredible event called Force on Force. Now, Force on Force puts you into an intense, realistic, live-action scenario that tests your marksmanship and your split-second decision-making skills. You're armed with a Glock 17T. The T stands for training. It fires simunition that leaves a mark when you hit somebody or where you get hit. You go through 2 different real-life scenarios and get a professional performance evaluation after each session. This is how special forces, SWAT teams, tactical operators around the world train, and now it's open to the public, available at the Glock store. This will likely be the last Force on Force training event this year. There are only 2 sessions available, 15 slots per session. They will sell out. For more information, go to glockstore.com/FOF. That's glockstore.com/FOF. Well, Samira Hardcastle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
You've been very brave.
It's been scary.
For 8 years, you've been a teacher at Metro Nashville Public Schools.
Correct.
Now, you attended Metro Nashville Public Schools.
I did.
Right?
I was a Metro baby.
You were a Metro baby, and then you went to Middle Tennessee State.
Yes.
And you got a degree there,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got an MBA from what, Carson Newman?
Yeah, correct.
Man,
you did your research.
Well, I mean, that's pretty, on top of things.
Yeah.
And you started out teaching math.
Correct.
What grade in math did you teach?
So I taught 3rd, 5th, and 6th, and then I switched to art.
Because you like art.
Yeah, I love art.
And you have a business.
Correct. It's called Artwork by Samira.
How do people find your business?
So they can search Artwork by Samira on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And then I have a website, artworkbysamira.com.
Artworkbysamira.com. Have people gone to your website and bought your art?
Yeah, they have been.
Of late?
Yes.
The past couple days?
Yeah. So it's
Now,
been
if
great.
I wanted to go there now, I like art.
Okay.
What kind of art could I get from you?
So I do commissions. It's usually commission based.
Really?
Yeah. So, it's usually I do portraits. But I can do anything. So if you have like a family member or a pet or anything, I can paint. But I also have something that's already like pre-made on there. It's a women's mental health coloring book. And that's what's been a lot of people's choice lately.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, how much does it cost?
It's $15 on my website, but you can get it on Amazon for I think $12.
Wow. Wow. I'd go to the website. You get the money up front
true.
on that.
That's true.
Okay, that's terrific. So, a lot of things of your brave statement that you made last week. Last week.
It's been
You got 2
so
minutes
fast.
at Metro Nashville Public Schools. You taught there for 8 years. You taught math. You taught art.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually had resigned in May. Is that right?
I submitted it, I think, end of April.
End of April.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you had a whole series of reasons, and I want to get to them. But let me start with the very last thing you said, which caught me because we are working on a project in this area about reading, writing, and basic math. You said, our kids cannot read. They cannot do basic math. Boom. And then they said, your time's up. You must go.
Yeah, that's convenient.
They didn't seem to care.
No, I think that they treat our children as money. So.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So now, as a former math teacher, wherever you speak when you say our kids cannot do basic math. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about your experience on the math side.
Sure.
Teaching.
So, when I taught 6th grade math, we have 6th grade standards we're required to teach. And in math it builds up. So if you don't know how to do those foundational skills, you can't do anything after that. Mm-hmm. So we're doing long division, but they don't know their times tables, and things like that. So I saw it firsthand, and you're not allowed to go back and teach that stuff because it's not 6th grade standards.
Hold on. This doesn't make any sense to me. Did it make any sense to you?
No.
So if the kids can't do their times tables, you can't go back and teach them that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to because that's not 6th grade level.
This is insanity.
It is. It sounds like a joke. It's not a funny one.
It's a bad joke.
It's a really bad joke, yeah.
That must have been so frustrating for you.
It is. I mean, I would still teach them, multiplication and stuff, but
wow.
they're behind.
So this is interesting. Now, there's this big push to measure proficiency. Mm-hmm. reading proficiency and math proficiency. And I think statewide, a fourth grade proficiency in reading is like, I don't know, 46% and 48%, and math is like 46%. And you see Davidson County is below that, but not too much below it. Should we believe those numbers?
I don't think so. I think all of the numbers are skewed, and I think that, in my personal opinion, focusing on proficiency is difficult at the state that we're in the education system. I think we need to focus on growth more heavily, because they're all about meeting kids where they're at. And if we're meeting them where they're at, let's talk about their growth. Let's not talk about how, are they where they're supposed to be? We know they're not where they're supposed to be. So. Yeah,
that was interesting. What was it? Yeah. So how long did you teach math? 3 years, 4 years?
I believe it was 4 years. Yeah. 4 years.
So you got up one morning and said, I'd rather teach art. So tell us about that.
So I've always had my art business, and so it's been a passion of mine since I was little. And our art teacher actually left my school, and so the position opened up. And my principal encouraged me at the time to get certified for art, so I went back to school again.
So you went back again? How does one? What is the certification to teach art?
I'm just certified in art. That's what it is.
You have to take courses in it?
Yes.
Where'd you take
I did that at Carson Newman.
Oh, Carson
And that's
Newman.
why I just continued my master's
Wow.
there. So, yeah, so I did that. I got certified and became the art teacher. And I've been happy ever since. It's not a tested subject.
Well, that's a good point. We'll be back with the very brave teacher, recently resigned teacher from Metro Nashville Public Schools, Samira Hardcastle. Back with Samira after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Ponder this. I've recently noticed that the way a person drives may have a direct correlation to their personality. I'm pretty confident that most of you have witnessed this as well. We see courteous drivers. These are people who allow others to change lanes when safety permits. Courteous drivers usually use their turn signals to gesture to others their intentions. They stop at red lights and pay attention when waiting for a red light to go green. There are other drivers who are not so courteous, even aggressive, and get defensive when others try to change lanes. These drivers tend to get angry at others to the point of road rage. What does your driving signal to others? Do you show love and kindness to fellow drivers as the Lord would want you to do? Or do you lose control and take your anger out on others? We are called to be charitable to others, even when they don't extend charity to us. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are here in studio with a very brave, recently resigned teacher from Metro Nashville Public Schools, Samira Hardcastle. Taught math, taught art, certified in both.
Yes.
Liked art because they didn't have those tests the way they have in math. That must be very stressful for teachers to have to teach to the test all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think many of your fellow teachers at the school you taught at probably feel that way significantly, don't they?
Mm-hmm. And across the world, they all agree.
Well, let's talk about this. So you submitted your resignation in late April.
Yeah.
And you decided you wanted to communicate to the board why you resigned.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were able to testify in the public hearing 2 minutes.
Right.
Now, looking back, did you have any idea how many people across the country would be impressed by the 2 minutes of your talking?
Not at all. I've never been to a board meeting. That was the first board meeting I went to, and I didn't know how it worked. But I just, I was like, I'm here to speak up for myself.
Had you written it out?
I had some notes, and as the meeting was going on, I saw other problems. I was like, that's wrong. This is wrong. So I just added in extra things to speak about.
Okay, so were you nervous when you got up to speak?
Oh, yeah. I was.
Were you very nervous?
I was shaking.
And you were looking at the board members?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Were they looking at you?
Yes, they were looking at me, some of them, and some of them were looking down at whatever. They did have a copy of my resignation letter, so I don't know if they were looking down at that or their phones or what.
So the highlights of this, just talk about safety for teachers.
So the safety part is, we always want to talk about our safety of our kids, but like, what about our teachers? The parents have too much say. They're allowed to come up there and spend all this time in the office arguing about like frivolous things, and I don't think that it's safe. It's not a harassment-free workplace, which is what they preach in the policies.
They preach all the time.
Yeah.
This was what, John F. Kennedy Middle School?
Correct.
Which is in the Antioch area?
Yeah.
What were the kids like?
My kids are great. Some of them do come from like low income backgrounds, and we have a lot of foster kids in the population.
You do?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they need extra support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you also talked about being forced to change grades for somebody that didn't deserve a passing grade.
Correct. We were doing a project. The project was a competition for the Titans, and this parent is very competitive. If her child doesn't get cheerleading squad or homecoming queen, she's up there in a second. And so I feel like the motive behind this was she wasn't going to win that competition, and she wasn't going to earn AB honor roll. So the child came crying to me on the very last day of the 9 weeks saying, I have to change her grade. I said, you got what you earned. And within the hour, the parent was up there complaining.
And the administration forced you to change the grade?
The district did.
District did.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the difference between your principal
Yes.
and the district.
My principal is supportive of me, but she also, wants to follow policies and do what she's supposed to, which is understandable. However, there's only so much that she can do because the district is having these meetings and forcing her to do things their way.
What's it like working in that district? What do people think about the leadership of the district and the school board?
I've heard positive and negative, but after my experience, I would say it's negative. They don't care about the kids. They're not putting the kids first. Our district motto is every student known. Meanwhile, they had a student come to the board meeting and speak directly to them, and they didn't care about knowing her case or helping her when she was expelled from Antioch. So
let's talk a little bit about if we were to give you the magic wand to be in charge of Metro Nashville Public Schools, what would be some of the changes you might make?
Well, first, I would be honest about our data. I would let people know this is really where our kids are, and that's how we would create change. We would start there.
So let's talk about being honest about the data.
Yeah.
What data is the Metro Nashville Public School District not honest about?
Their scores. Their scores are skewed, or they'll take the data from maybe one test out of the entire year. I think it's important that we look at the overall picture. And, even maybe the test is the problem too. The test needs to be evaluated because something's wrong. I don't even work on that end of things. I don't know. So Samira Hardcastle was there teaching in her class. Yeah.
And she resigned and gave a stunning 2-minute speech. And now the entire country wants to hear about her.
Yeah. And I need other teachers to speak up. I need them to, and not timidly, I need them to use their teacher voice and get word out, because it's not just me, and it's coming down on just me as if I'm like, I don't know. I need other teachers to speak up.
Hey, I'm just an art teacher here, right?
Yeah.
So the media, how quickly after you gave that stunningly impactful 2-minute speech before the Metro Nashville Public School Board last week, when did the media start asking you to talk?
I feel like it was within a day.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't even been, it's been about 1 week and it's gone worldwide. So it happened very fast.
So you've been on, I think I heard you on Dan Mandis, WTN radio.
Yeah.
You've been on local television, I guess, right?
Yes. I think I've also done interviews with Fox. We did stuff with the Tennessean, the Tennessee Firefly. Anybody that will listen, I'm willing to speak.
Talk to.
Yeah.
I think you were on Laura Ingram's show on Fox.
I was,
News. Yeah.
that as well, yeah.
Yeah. She seems like very interested in this topic.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's ask, what's next for Samira Hardcastle?
For me, I'm gonna keep advocating, but as far as going back in the classroom, I'm not. I'm just gonna do my art business and hope somebody will
buy it.
Yeah, that too. Hope they'll buy my art.
I think they will. Next time we have you on, we'll have to give you the example of some of your art.
Sure.
But the art, the website is what again?
Artworkbysamira.com.
Artworkbysamira.com, and you could. Like, if somebody's out there listening and they want to support you, they could buy your coloring book for mental health for women.
Yes.
Or they could commission you to do something.
Correct.
What are some of your favorite commissions?
I've had family portraits, or someone's graduating, they'll have me do their painting for their graduation. I've also done, loved ones have lost their pets, and so I'll paint dogs and things like that.
You'll like that?
So I love all of it.
You'll love doing that?
Yeah.
How much would it cost? I mean, if I wanted to commission you, because I have some thoughts here.
Yeah, let me know.
How do you go about that?
So on the website, it's based off of size. There's about 4 different options. The smallest one is a 16 by 20, and it's close to $500, but I have Afterpay, and so... Yeah.
What's Afterpay?
It's like where you can do a payment plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. How long does it take you to do that?
3 to 5 hours usually.
Now, I noticed that, you're very well educated.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bachelor's degree at Middle Tennessee State, art certification as a teacher at Carson Newman, and an MBA.
Correct.
MBAs are, in high demand.
They are.
Did you ever have any idea of maybe doing something in business besides your own entrepreneurship?
I was okay with that. Honestly, the reason I got the MBA was for a pay raise and so that I would have options to get out of teaching. But
is that how it works?
That's what I want, because you can't do anything with your teaching degree. It's very hard to find a job.
Is it? Yeah.
So I got the MBA last year, and then I was like, I'll just look for business jobs, but it'll also give me foundational skills for my art business. So it worked out. Yeah, the MBA was definitely a smart move.
What was your favorite subject in getting your MBA?
I like the marketing aspect. It was really cool just to see how you can market yourself. That was fun.
The finance and accounting was probably deadly dull.
That was my least favorite, even as a math teacher. No. But I did it. I persevered and got a degree.
Have you heard anything from your former students?
Yes, they've been messaging me and so supportive. They're so sweet.
Really?
Yes, they're like, what'd they do to you, Miss Hardcastle? They're sweet.
It's not that they did anything to you.
Yes.
It's that you decided that you didn't want to be part of a system that wasn't working properly.
Yeah, correct.
Well, Samira Hardcastle, it is a delight to have you here.
Thank you.
Give us the website again.
Artworkbysamira.com.
Artworkbysamira.com. Samira Hardcastle, a brave American.
Thank you.
And a brave, recently resigned teacher in Metro Nashville Public Schools. Samira, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you
it's
for
a real
having
pleasure.
me.
Really appreciate you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. When we come back, Tom Papper joins us. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Ponder this. Why would God permit evil to occur? Why does he allow bad things to happen to good people? Why doesn't he intercede when innocent people are unjustly accused? These questions sometimes cause good people to turn their face away from God and question the very existence of God. But God does exist, and he does permit evil. Why, you ask? The short answer is that God permits evil to bring about a greater good. Think about this. The greatest evil ever committed is the killing of our God, Jesus Christ, the second person of the Holy Trinity. From this great evil came the greatest good, the opening of the gates of heaven. That's right, heaven did not open until Christ shed his blood for us. We must always trust God's plan for our salvation, especially when hard times fall upon us. Pray, trust, and persevere in good times and bad. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host Rick Hughes every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Honesty, integrity, help Tennessee, markpody.com.
The values that have made Tennessee strong, faith, personal responsibility, freedom, and respect for one another, are rooted in timeless godly principles. Those values are worth protecting, and I'm going to continue fighting to preserve them for our children and grandchildren. I'm Mark Pody, and I'd be honored to earn your vote again.
markpody.com.
Paid for by the campaign trail like Mark Pody.
Candace Graham, Treasurer.
I'm Scott Desjardins, and I approve this message.
We will make America great again.
President Donald Trump has given his complete and total endorsement to Congressman Scott Desjardins, saying he fights for our military, veterans, law enforcement, and the Second Amendment.
I'm honored to be endorsed by President Trump. I know together we've got to control inflation, secure our borders, and strengthen our military.
Scott Desjardins, representing the people of the 4th Congressional District.
With your support, we will make America great again. Paid for by friends of Scott Desjardins.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by the Dow Prize Award winner for the best local journalism in the country, a prize that he won along with yours truly and our executive editor, Christina Botteri, the one, the only, Tom Pappert. Good afternoon, Tom.
Good afternoon, Michael.
I got it in this time. I said, good afternoon.
I was going to say, and it's only Wednesday. See, I think that Patrick is going to win that over-under bet on Friday.
Now, Tom, I do have a programming note. You saw this morning. We are now live and in living color on the John Fredericks Media Network television app. And it's live television on your app from, I think it runs from 6 a.m. Eastern, that's 5 a.m. Central, all the way to 7 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Or 6 p.m. Central, which is, quite spectacular. And have you downloaded it yet, Tom? I have.
I haven't yet, but I think I'm going to have to because I have the Radio Mobile app. And I have, of course, the X. I'll often watch the Michael Patrick Leahy Show on X. But it would be very convenient. Think about this, folks at home. You can just have it on in the TV as you walk into the room. No more trying to fiddle with your various technology. It'll be just as simple as opening up your Netflix or your Amazon Prime or Hulu or anything else. That is a very cool thing.
Better than Netflix. So it's JFMN.TV. I have a an iPhone, and so I went and went to the Apple apps, got it, and downloaded it. And I was watching this morning John Fredericks for 4 hours. 4 hours of John Fredericks, followed by at 6A to 10A Eastern, followed by from 10A to noon, Wendy Bell Live, She's based in Pittsburgh. John is based in Washington, D.C. Noon to 3 Eastern, you have Rob Carson. I don't know, where's Rob based? I think it's in Kansas City, someplace like that.
I'm going to say somewhere in the Midwest, I think.
He's a Midwest guy. We'll find out where that is. And then, of course, you've got yours truly from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central here in living color with Tom Pappard, as we are right now. And then from 5 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. Eastern, Katz and Cosby with Rita Cosby, who is great. We have to get her on. Do a little cross promotion, don't you think? Get her on, and she's with John. I think it's Katsimides, the big.
That's right, John Katsimides from New York,
the grocery store owner, and he is something else. He's really gives it direct. And then we've got the sports program on after that. I think here, the former general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. So just it's very interesting. I've been watching it, and I think, wow, that's great. And I can watch it live and in living color right on my app, jfmn.tv. Okay. Well, he's back. The case is back. These stories, these litigation stories that we follow seem to go on forever. One of them, which is winded down as a victory, asterisk, dot, 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 we'll talk about in our next segment. That's our big legal win in the Covenant Manifesto documents case. But let's talk about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Yes, that one. Can you just bring everybody up to speed on how we got here with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and then what's next? What has happened recently in that human smuggling case?
Of course, Michael, and since we're at our new time, I'll remind everybody, you may have forgotten, this is the so-called Maryland man was deported allegedly by mistake in March of last year. Chris Van Hollen, the senator, went down to El Salvador and had margaritas with him, and he was eventually returned to the United States. But we should remind you, he was returned to the United States after the Tennessee Star reported that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was stopped by Tennessee Highway Patrol in November of 2022. Tennessee Highway Patrol suspected human trafficking. We know that from a DHS document. But according to a spokesman for THP, the Biden-era FBI told troopers to release Abrego Garcia. He was released and free to roam the interior of the United States of America until last year when all of the illegal...
And let me just stop for a moment before we get to all this. When we broke that story, and this is very important, our source wasn't the federal government. Our source was not the Department of Justice or a prosecutor therein. Somebody within the Tennessee Highway Patrol, which they confirmed that like the following day. That's the source. That's very, very important. And it's something that the judge who took the case, the human smuggling case, and dismissed it for, wait for it, vindictive prosecution, Waverly Crenshaw, appointed by, wait for it, Barack Obama, made no mention of. And yet the whole thing started because of our reporting. And our source was the Tennessee Highway Patrol.
Well, that's right, Michael. And that in many ways leads us directly to the latest news, because as you said, it was dropped for so-called vindictive prosecution. That was in May. Well, this week, U.S. Attorney Braden Buchek has filed the appeal of that decision. And that appeal notes in the filing in 3 different places that the 2025 investigation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia started because the former head of HSI, Homeland Security Special Investigations, Nashville, the head of that office, read an article that we published, I wrote, at the Tennessee Star. She read more articles at the Tennessee Star, and she started interviewing individuals who may be able to help her build a case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And in fact, in this appeal, they specifically said that it was after reading an article from the Tennessee Star that they interviewed a guy by the name of Jose Ramon Hernandez Reyes. That's the guy who owned the vehicle that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was driving all the way back in 2022. Ramon Hernandez Reyes happens to be a convicted human smuggler who was actually in jail at the time that interview with police occurred. He had agreed to cooperate with authorities if the case against Kilmar went to trial. So yes, Michael, the judge essentially ignored the entire provenance of how the case came out in 2025 and said that because he determined that there was a potential for vindictive prosecution, that the federal government then failed to rebut that presumption of vindictive prosecution, and the case had to go away. I do not think that the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals is going to agree with this Obama-appointed judge.
I think the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals is going to slap this judge down. Nowhere, if you look at all the history of vindictive prosecution, has there been a decision made like this one. I mean, the guy said, just created this idea out of whole cloth. And but it was all, created, that the whole cloth was sewn up and woven by the high-priced legal counsel, right? That how much money did they spend making their arguments here?
Michael, we should have to get an accounting at some point. That'll never happen. There's no law that would ever require such a thing. But if you just look at the number of filings, there are like 3 to 5 different court cases between the original filings, the appeals, the second lawsuit, etc., involving Abrego Garcia. And each one of them, they have over 100 different filings in many cases. So if you just think of this, he has 3 or maybe 4 different law firms, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. This has to be a multi-million dollar, probably north of $10 million enterprise to keep this, all 3 of these cases really, live in the system and generating headlines. I think that is the primary idea, by the way, why it's worth all this money, because every time we say Kilmar, Abrego Garcia, I fear that a midterm voter decides they're not going to vote in November.
Could be. I mean, it's part of a political strategy, right? It's lawfare that's part of a political strategy designed to make it very, very difficult to deport illegal aliens of any kind. But in this particular case, an illegal alien who has been indicted, case dismissed temporarily, on charges of human smuggling. Also, just as an aside, I do want to remind everybody that although the charges were first brought by the federal government, there is also a Tennessee state statute which would apply in this case, and it's called human trafficking. It's a definitional thing, right? We've looked at this before. And the local district attorney who covers Putnam County still is within the statute of limitations, and that district attorney could file state charges against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Now, that's been ignored largely, but I think this is probably, if all else fails, there might be a state case. How long do you think the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals will take to decide this case?
We have sort of something to compare this to in the immigration lawsuit filed by Abrego Garcia. That went up to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, and it took about, it was from April until this month for us to get the response from the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. So that's quite a stretch, about 4 months there. I hope that's not the case this time.
I think it'll go into
next year. It could be. Yeah. But the Sixth Circuit is more friendly to Trump than the Fourth.
Good
so
point.
Perhaps we'll see something soon.
Hey, Tom, stick around. We got another case that we have to talk about. Our huge legal victory in the Covenant Manifesto case, which no one in the media, except for the Tennessee Star, has reported on. And yet, when they tried to put me in jail, they were all over it. Back with Tom Pappert after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
I spent my career building a business, but I couldn't stand by while Washington spent money it didn't have. So I got in the fight, and I never forgot who elected me. This election is about the America we pass on to your family and mine. We inherited freedom. Now it's our turn to defend it, to strengthen it, and to leave America stronger than we found it. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman, and I approve this message.
Wendy Bell Radio.
Fauci sent $40 million of our taxpayer money to Wuhan to do these dangerous coronavirus experiments starting in 2014, ladies and gentlemen. This was no novel coronavirus. There was nothing new about it. It was a bioterror weapon. But this is the biggest government scandal in U.S. history because it is the death of millions of people.
Wendy Bell is live 10 to noon starting August 17th on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Ponder this. It's amazing how many of us choose to go about our daily life without recognizing others who cross our paths each day. Take, for example, your morning walk, run, or workout at the gym. As we encounter others, often we don't make eye contact, let alone smile or greet each other. Listening to music or a podcast with our earbuds is so much more preferable than having to greet others we encounter. As a result, people are becoming more and more disconnected from each other. So let's start a human connection trend. Here's an experiment for you to try. Put your phone and earbuds away for a day while in public. Try to engage others in your path with a simple smile and a kind hello. These simple gestures will become a powerful force in the world. A smile costs nothing, but can be a powerful tool to brighten the day for others. Let your smile be a light for all to see. It's a gesture of love from the Lord. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line by the great Tom Pappert, Dow Prize Award winner for the best local journalism in the country. Tom, so we've been on this 3-year litigation quest in the Covenant Killer case. We got the final victory in the state Supreme Court earlier this week, and it was a stunning victory. It basically, they said, let's go with the Court of Appeals, which told the trial court to basically release everything. Now they've got to go through a few hoops on it. There's a little caveat on it. But this is my question to you. How many news outlets besides the Tennessee Star have reported on this major victory?
You know, Michael, I know you did the research. I've reproduced the research. 0 is the answer to the question. The Tennessee Star reported it On the 17th of the day that the case was closed, the Tennessee Firearms Association, not a news outlet, but a very good organization, of course, they wrote a press release announcing the victory. And then I found two posts on social media, one by our friend Brianna Morello, one by our friend Austin Peterson. And aside from that, it has been a total and complete media blackout, especially noteworthy, of course, for the local media in Nashville, Tennessee.
You know, Phil Williams from News Channel 5 didn't think it was important. WSMV, the News NBC affiliate, didn't think it was important. WKRN, the ABC affiliate. Fox 17, the Fox affiliate, didn't think it was important. But it's interesting, Tom, because a little over 2 years ago, I don't know if you remember this, I do, when the trial court judge, LaShia Miles, dragged me into the court on a show cause hearing to explain to her why she shouldn't throw me in jail on a contempt of court charge. She never even got to that point. She said, well, I'm going to talk about something else, because she didn't have any case there. Every local television station was there. In fact, we have this clip of yours truly talking to the assembled local television media two years ago after the hearing was held. Here we go.
If you don't know, my name is Michael Patrick Leahy. I'm the CEO and editor-in-chief of the Tennessee Star and Star News Digital Media, Inc. First thing to say, I just love the state of Tennessee. It's a great state, and my family and I have lived here for 30 years. The people are kind, the people are nice. The governance is just and measured. We started the Tennessee Star so I could exercise my First Amendment rights. I think we have served the public well, and we are delighted to have the opportunity to continue to exercise our First Amendment rights. Thanks very much.
I mean, there was a big crowd of, all the television cameras there. They were mostly interested in the court case, where there I was right in the middle, all by myself with one attorney and the other attorney sort of next to me. But there I was right in front of the judge, who seemed at the beginning very eager to find reasons to put me in jail, but then never kind of got to the point. All the cameras were there. There must have been, 6 or 7 cameras, national and local camera, for the hearing. Now we won the case. Where are they, and why do they not care? Tom Pepper.
Well, and one reporter specifically, Michael, a guy named Stacey Cameron, is the one who called the judge. And this is a local reporter, by the way. This is a local guy. Called the judge and said, after we obtained legally some of the killer's writings and started writing stories based upon them, called the judge and said, hey, I don't think this guy Michael is supposed to have what he says he has. Why don't you bring him in for contempt of court? So I bring this up to point out that Mr. Cameron was following the case closely enough to make that phone call based on reporting that we wrote at the TennesseeStar.com. But now, 2 years later, he, I guess, has stopped following the case entirely.
Stacey Cameron is a hypocritical coward. I mean, we won the case, and he is too cowardly to report that. So there you go. All right. So next up is, we're going to be, pushing this far and wide. One of the things that I think they're concerned about is we want to see this document purportedly a will, right? There's purportedly a will as a document. I don't know if there is, but we'll see. And then we want to get the details of, with the medical records of the killer. And we want to get also, we've asked them for this. They'd said it would take until September or until the court made a decision. Well, guess what? There's a final order in the case. They need to comply. Yesterday, you were skeptical about whether or not the judge would move quickly and whether or not Metro Nashville would move quickly to release all this information. What are your thoughts today, the day after we've talked about this?
Michael, I remain convinced that at the end of the day, everything that you filed the lawsuit for all the way back in 2022 is going to be made public. I do still think that they're not going to be in any rush. The mechanisms, the actual hoops that have to be jumped through, I don't think they're going to have an opportunity to flatly deny anything at this point. But this is the chore that nobody wants to do. This is the mountain of laundry sitting at the foot of the basement stairs. I think that they're going to treat it just like that.
All right. I think you're right, Tom, but we're going to be all over it, aren't we?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Tom Pappert, for that report. Hey, up next, Judson Phillips joins us. We have some very disturbing news about St. Thomas Ascension Hospital, the treatment of particular patients here in Nashville. I don't think they've handled the press on this very well, and I think the patients involved would probably agree. Judson Phillips with that after the break.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
The establishment has already picked their candidate. Same old playbook, same old insiders. I'm not their choice. And this election is not for sale. The stakes are too high for political games. The Socialist Democrats are a threat to America. South Carolina needs a proven conservative with a record of fighting for you. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman. I approve this message, and I'm asking for your vote.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, 100.5, 107.7, 92.7 FM, AM 820, and WJFB, Portsmouth, AM 1650.
Big victory for President Trump yesterday and primary Tuesday in the state of Florida. That's where U.S. Representative Byron Donalds won the Republican nomination for Florida governor, and former Representative David Jolly picked up the Democrat nomination. That all sets the stage for a fall campaign to replace the state's popular but term-limited Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. Florida's special Democrat primary race for the U.S. Senate, meanwhile, saw retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Alex Vindman come up short, drawing a response from the White House.
President Trump posting on his Truth Social page, "Sleazebag Vindman loses tonight to a radical left lunatic." How cool is that? Vindman was a Trump impeachment witness. He got beat by Democrat Socialist candidate Congresswoman Angie Nixon. She will face Republican Senator Ashley Moody, who was the state attorney general and appointed to the Senate seat by Governor DeSantis when Marco Rubio was selected by the president to be Secretary of State.
That is Laura Winters reporting. The president is giving a new update on the situation in the Middle East. We get more from correspondent Willie Nelson.
President Trump says there are no talks or conversations underway with Iran. The president confirmed the naval blockade remains in full force while the Strait of Hormuz is open and operating. The president noted all water mines in the area have been removed or detonated. In another message, the president labeled the Strait of Hormuz as a new U.S. territory. Willie Nelson, Washington.
President Trump said on Tuesday he was delaying that 50% U.S. tariff on $20 billion worth of Canadian imports. That's after the two countries managed to reach a last-minute deal less than 2 hours before the sanctions were set to go into effect at midnight Eastern Time.
Those sanctions are now delayed, buying time for more negotiations
and avoiding, for now, yet another strain in already tense relations between historic allies. Ben Thomas, Washington.
For these stories at Town Hall.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-926-5959. That's 800-926-5959. 800-926-5959.
A judge has been removed from the Texas track meet stabbing case as defendant Carmelo Anthony seeks a new trial.
Anthony's legal team argued for his removal, arguing that the judge was overly strict and participated in an interview after the verdict. Anthony was convicted in June of fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Rainey High School track meet. The case drew national attention on social media, focusing largely on race. Anthony is black, Metcalf was white. Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison after a suburban Dallas jury rejected his claims of self-defense during what witnesses say was a heated exchange between the two. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Florida carried out its 13th execution of the year on Tuesday. 61-year-old William Sylvia was put to death by lethal injection for the 2006 murder of his estranged wife. You'll find breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. A congresswoman says an ICE target in a Maine shooting was not up for deportation.
Maine Democratic Congresswoman Shelley Pingree says the person Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents targeted in Maine last month when an officer shot and killed a motorist was not subject to a final removal order. 25-year-old Colombian national Juan Sebastian Duran Guerrero was shot and killed in a car near his home on July 13th. ICE's intended target was Duran Guerrero's roommate. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Texas led all teams with 4 players named to the preseason Associated Press All-America football team, and the Southeastern Conference had 14 of the 27 first-team selections. The Big Ten didn't do bad. It had 8 players on the first team, led by Oregon quarterback Dante Moore and 2 of his Ducks teammates, defending national champion Indiana, Georgia, and Oklahoma. They all had 2 players each on the first team. More details at Town Hall.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, our very good friend, all-star panelist, founder of Tea Party Nation, formerly a prosecuting attorney, now an entrepreneur, a graduate of the University of Memphis School of Law, and has an MBA from the University of Tennessee, a true Tennessean, the one, the only, Judson Phillips.
Go Vols.
Yeah, go Vols. Is the football season starting up?
Yeah, we've got our first game September the 6th against Furman. And, you know,
They're called, what, the Furman Paladins, I think, aren't they?
Something like that, yeah.
What's a paladin? Some kind of bird?
Some kind of knight. And but you know, the good news is you always want to do your home opener against a team that you're pretty certain you're going to just mop the field with.
We are going to be on the John Fredericks Radio Network is acquiring 950 AM in Franklin, Tennessee.
WAKM.
And you, of course, everybody knows WAKM in Franklin, Williamson County.
Outstanding.
And with that comes the Tennessee Volunteers games and also Tennessee Titans. So I think that game will probably be on 950 AM, WAKM in Franklin, as part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And we can listen to Mike Keith, voice of the Titans.
But he's got a show here on so starting, I think, September 1st or so.
That's
so there you
great.
Go. A very disturbing story. A very disturbing story that the local news outlets have covered extensively I saw the statement about this from the head of a hospital here. It's called St. Thomas Ascension. And the CEO of the hospital, I can't pronounce this person's name. I guess she's a doctor from India. Is that right? What's her name?
Yeah. I looked her up, and that is her history. Now, I'm going to probably mangle this name. Dr. Shubhada Jagasia.
Okay, so she's the CEO. And then, so the statement that came out, I'm paraphrasing it, but you probably got the story. This was a weird statement. An incident occurred at our hospital, St. Thomas Ascension in Nashville, I think it was, that injured 4 patients. And we've been talking with the family, and we are very sorry, and we're working on it with them, providing all the help we can. What was this incident? The CEO didn't say.
Oh, she wouldn't.
She wouldn't say. But sleuths in the journalistic industry have come up with some information. What can you tell us that is verified from sources on what this injury or incident was that hurt 4 patients at St. Thomas Ascension Hospital?
Yeah, and this is based on published media reports. So this is not just me, having my secret squirrel sources. This is published media reports. Last Friday, 4 people went into the St. Thomas Ascension Midtown Nashville Hospital for joint replacements. And
now, what's our source on this?
This is Propaganda Channel 5.
Oh, News Channel 5.
Yeah, I prefer Propaganda Channel 5.
Same difference.
We'll go into that later, but
but it's the Scripps-owned television station in Nashville.
Yeah, and this is more or less a straight-up news story. So I'm not going to argue much media bias here. But 4 people went in for joint replacement surgery, and this nowadays is fairly routine. But here's what happened: the anesthesiologist, at least I presume it was the anesthesiologist or the pharmacist.
Who said that? Are you presuming it was the anesthesiologist? What's the news source on this?
This is, again, Channel 5. It was either the anesthesiologist or the pharmacist, and I don't know which. Their claim, News Channel 5 saying it's a mistake in the pharmacy.
So what exactly did News Channel 5 say about this? Okay, I've got the story. Drug mix-up.
Yeah, but here's what happened. The drug is called. Let's see, where is it now? Because I'm horrible at pronouncing these drugs. I'll find it in just a second. But what happened is, instead of the drug that is given for epidurals, they substituted potassium. Potassium is used in lethal injections.
Not good.
To stop a killer's heart.
So let's get the exact quote from this News Channel 5 report from Jennifer Krause. And the headline of this story is "Medication Mix-Up During Several Surgeries at Ascension St. Thomas Hospital Left at Least One Person Paralyzed." And let me go down to the quote here. Last Friday, at least 4 people went to Ascension St. Thomas Midtown in Nashville for joint replacement surgeries, and a drug mix-up led to things going horribly wrong in the operating room. The family of a Centerville woman who was there for a knee replacement told News Channel 5 investigates she is now permanently paralyzed from the chest down. She was supposed to have an epidural for pain, but the wrong medication was injected. She was not the only one.
She's one of 4.
Okay.
And the other 3, according to various
where did
reports,
the potassium in this story from?
It is. It's the anesthetic they were trying to put in was called bupivacaine, but instead the syringes were loaded with potassium. Now, my question is, and I'm not a medical guy, but you have 4 separate syringes for 4 separate operations that get the same wrong chemical in them.
Yeah, bad news.
Well, it's worse than bad news.
Let's get the exact quote from News Channel 5 story. Quote, "We've been told it happened." Now, this is, I wouldn't do that sourcing. We've been told.
Yeah, anonymous sources.
That's bad. That's bad sourcing.
Oh, it's
is. Bad reporting. But okay, let's go. News Channel 5 says, quote, "We've been told it happened in the pharmacy where instead of putting an anesthetic called bupivacaine," is that it? How do you pronounce it?
I pronounced it bupivacaine.
Bupivacaine.
Yeah.
It says, into the syringes used in these procedures, somehow they were filled with potassium, which can be lethal. In fact, potassium is one of the drugs often used in lethal injections because it stops the heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, basically, and I'll continue. The family of the Centerville woman said after the hospital discovered what had happened, she was transferred to Ascension St. Thomas West, where she remains in the ICU. Her family is now speaking with an attorney.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. But I've got to say this from a journalistic perspective. Okay, this sourcing is not good from News Channel 5. We've been told that it happened in the pharmacy, where instead of putting an anesthetic called bupivacaine into the syringes, that somehow it was filled with potassium, which can be lethal.
Yeah.
We've been told.
Yeah. And for the moment, I'm going to assume that information is pretty close to accurate. Because you have 4 people, 4 separate operations, same result. So my question is, let's start with the basics. Who was the person that prepared these syringes? Now, they're not named anywhere. Who was the person that prepared these syringes? What is their training? What is their background? That's something I would like to know. Again, I don't make any claim to have any expertise in the medical field. I'm not a doctor. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
But you are an attorney who knows about medical malpractice, although that was not your area of specialization.
No, but this thing is, well, just from the legal point of view, you've got lawyers, medical malpractice lawyers all across town who are salivating, hoping that they will get the call from one of these families, because this is the only question is going to be not is there a liability, it's how much is the check going to be.
How big is the check going to be? This would be an instance where my advice to the CEO of Ascension St. Thomas, cut a deal.
Cut a deal, cut it quick.
If this is true.
Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty
cut it
certain,
quickly.
Yeah, pretty certain they will.
It's going to be a big check.
Now, here's the good news. When you have an incident like this, it has to be reported to state regulators, and state regulators are investigating.
So they'll get the facts.
Yeah, but the question is, will the public get the facts?
Well, there's such a thing as called a public records request.
And
I'm pretty good at that.
I was about to say, do I know somebody who knows how to do that?
We'll be back with Judson Phillips after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
I spent my career building a business, but I couldn't stand by while Washington spent money it didn't have. So I got in the fight, and I never forgot who elected me. This election is about the America we pass on to your family and mine. We inherited freedom. Now it's our turn to defend it, to strengthen it, and to leave America stronger than we found it. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman, and I approve this message.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Piers 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, our good friend for many years.
More than we're going to count.
Former prosecuting attorney, founder of Tea Party Nation, entrepreneur with a thriving business. I would call it in the financial services area. Wouldn't you? Would that be right?
Yeah.
Judson, also, you track polling and you track all sorts of public policy issues. Polling, for several years, I was the polling editor at Breitbart News, and that came about because we were looking at polls 2015, 2016, and they were all, Trump's going to lose in a landslide. But we knew it would happen at the state level, and there were, issues surrounding immigration and refugees that made a big difference. So Stephen K. Bannon hired Pat Caddell not to do the polls, but to frame the questioning of the polls. And the late, great Pat Caddell.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a genius. He was also, he was challenging for people who didn't do exactly what he wanted to work with. So I was the Caddell whisperer. I was there between Pat Caddell, and I was there between Pat Caddell and the pollster, who did a good job state by state. And then, of course, the guy who wrote the stories was Neil McCabe. So obviously now with Real America's Voice, the White House correspondent. But you learn a lot about polling in that way. And the key is methodology. Now, there was a time when polls were designed for the purpose of informing the public as to where a race stood.
They were designed for accuracy.
And designed to give the candidates an idea of where they stood. That's not really the case anymore, is it?
Oh, no. No, in fact, most polls you will see right up until Election Day are agenda-driven.
Mm-hmm.
They are put out by a group that has a specific agenda, and then they want to announce, oh, hey, guess what? We have a poll that says 99.9% of Americans agree with our point of view, and Mr. Politician, you better too.
Yeah. Now, we had kind of that play out in Tennessee politics several times. There's a firm that represents political candidates and gives them, shall we say, false hope that they're going to win.
Yes.
And they had, in a case where there was a candidate running against Bill Haggerty in 2020, they convinced the candidate he was up by 8. And he took a mortgage out on his house, which was fully paid off. And he lost by 11. Now, he probably ought to sue that polling firm. That same polling firm had basically, in the GOP primary, John Rose versus Marsha Blackburn. At the end, they said it was a toss-up. She won by 11.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, the advocacy polls, I mean, this is the time of year they are coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And what brought all this about is there was a poll that came out in Politico. Now, first of all,
hold it. You have to say it correctly. German-owned Politico. That is the official way we refer to Politico.
German-owned Politico.
At the Tennessee Star and at the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
German-owned Politico. And first of all, any poll that comes out from Politico, you need to take with a rather large grain of salt, if not the whole shaker.
Or a dose of sauerkraut.
Some
a mug of beer.
Beer from Oktoberfest.
There you go.
But anyway, according to this poll, which is done by an outfit called Public First, which is an interesting outfit, they claim that 50% of Americans say that President Trump's immigration policies have gone too far. And according to this poll, this so-called poll, 24% of Americans who voted for President Trump are now going, oh, the immigration has gone too far. Now, some basics to go over. Public First is a group, allegedly, well, they have most of their ties to the UK. Mm-hmm. Their principals were involved in Boris Johnson's election to prime minister. But they're American people who have ties are primarily in Arizona, and their ties are to the old establishment GOP, the old Bush GOP that wanted open borders so we could have cheap labor, and who cares if Americans get put out of work. And so this is interesting. This is not going to be the last. There are a lot of them coming out. The more interesting ones are coming out for some of the races. For example, in Texas, they're claiming James Tallarico is leading Ken Paxton.
James Tallarico?
Tallarico.
Yeah, the Democrat.
In Michigan, they're
He's
claiming
far left nutcase.
Yeah, Abdul El Sayed is leading Mike Rogers up there, and
nothing says Americana like Abdul El Sayed.
Yeah, the man who one of his best buddies is Hassan Piker, who
basically wants to murder people who
says,
are not Muslims.
A communist. He says he wants the street to run red with the blood of capitalists.
And I'm not buying that. By the way, related to this, there's an article today at Breitbart News. Republican pollster finds long-term trend of polls overestimating Democrats. But there's gambling in Casablanca. I'm shocked. Just the lead of this. This is by Matt Mercer. An investigation of U.S. Senate polling shows 73% of surveys overstate the levels of support for Democrats. Patrick Ruffini, the co-founder of Echelon Insights. I know Patrick. You know Patrick from the 2000. Remember the 2008 battle for the Republican National Committee chairman?
Oh.
He was involved in that. He didn't run for it, but he's involved in that. And where they picked Michael Steele.
Oh, Lord.
Crazy. Now, the MS Now lefty commentator published the results of the deep dive into polling on Tuesday. That doesn't surprise me at all. Does it surprise you?
No, not at all. They've got, I'm looking at Real Clear Politics polling maps, and Real Clear Politics just takes the polling data, doesn't play with it or anything. They just kind of aggregate it and put things up. And right now they're showing 6 toss-ups in the United States Senate. Texas, Iowa, Michigan, Ohio, Maine, and Alaska. Alaska was kind of ducked off there to the side. Now, the good news is that all these are fairly, even the polls that support the Democrats are showing a fairly close race. Like in Ohio, Husted, the Republican incumbent, who's finishing out J.D. Vance's term, supposedly Sherrod Brown, who wants to get back into the Senate, supposedly only leads him by about 0.6%. Well, if they're overstating, then there's some hope there.
Yeah.
In Maine, Jackson is supposedly leading Susan Collins by 2.3%.
Yeah. Well, that's margin of error even in a rigged poll. But Jackson, let me just be clear. Troy Jackson, who has children with his cousin.
Yes.
I mean,
and we used to make Alabama jokes about that. Now we have to make Maine jokes.
Okay, let us be clear. He has children with his second cousin. That means,
it's legal, at least in Maine.
It's legal everywhere, if you can believe it. But it's ridiculous everywhere as well.
Yeah, it kind of grosses people out.
I would say so. Yeah,
but
I would say so.
With him, that's within the margin of error. And I'll say this for Susan Collins. She is a pretty formidable politician.
She's a very good politician for Maine.
And
she's at it. She's going to well, let me just be on the record right now. She's going to beat Troy Jackson by double digits.
I certainly hope so.
She's going to win.
I'm hoping we keep Maine, pick up Michigan, keep Ohio, keep Texas. States we should be picking up, there's two of them, Georgia and North Carolina. Georgia is ranked as leaning Democratic with Joel Ossoff. John Ossoff.
John Ossoff, who is, you know what, he's like a trust fund baby.
Yeah.
Do you know what he did for a living? He lost money making documentaries.
It doesn't shock me.
And guess what? If you look at all his commercials, it's like he's the star of a documentary.
Yeah. Yeah. And North Carolina, where it's an open seat, Tom Tillis resigning, Mike Whatley against former Governor Roy Cooper. That is one. Mike Whatley ought to be beating that guy like a rented mule.
But he's not.
No, he's down by like 7-8 points.
Turns out he was a better state party chair than candidate. It looks like. He is a horrible candidate. And he's got horrible consultants advising him because his commercials, he's wearing the sweater vest. He's just kind of doing the typical sweater vest. Sweater vest.
The stereotypical Republican commercial.
We got to take a break here. More with Judson Phillips when we come back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
August 17th. Big changes are coming to the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks, your Godzilla of Truth, starts the day from 6 to 10.
Wendy Bell follows from 10 to noon.
Rob Carson staying put at noon to 3.
Michael Patrick Leahy moves to 3 o'clock.
Followed by Katz and Cosby at 5.
America's new boss for conservative talk is
the John Fredericks Media Network.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Honesty, integrity, help Tennessee, markpody.com.
The values that have made Tennessee strong, faith, personal responsibility, freedom, and respect for one another, are rooted in timeless godly principles. Those values are worth protecting, and I'm going to continue fighting to preserve them for our children and grandchildren. I'm Mark Pody, and I'd be honored to earn your vote again.
markpody.com.
Paid for by the campaign to elect Mark Pody.
Candace Graham, Treasurer.
I'm Scott Desjardins, and I approve this message.
We will make America great again.
President Donald Trump has given his complete and total endorsement to Congressman Scott Desjardins, saying he fights for our military, veterans, law enforcement, and the Second Amendment.
I'm honored to be endorsed by President Trump. I know together we've got to control inflation, secure our borders, and strengthen our military.
Scott Desjardins, representing the people of the 4th Congressional District.
With your support, we will make America great again. Paid for by friends of Scott Desjardins.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back in studio, Judson Phillips. Judson, did you ever think that Democrats would become so insane?
There are two things that have no known limits: the universe and the insanity of Democrats, and we're not sure about the first.
Very few of them have good mental health, I would say. And, you know, I was as a kid growing up in upstate New York, my hero was John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
I was an Irish Catholic Democrat as a kid. I ran as a delegate in 1976. I lost in upstate New York. I was a Mo Udall Democrat. But after Ronald Reagan was elected, I became a Republican in 1984.
Yeah.
And I never looked back because the Democrats, I don't recognize them. I haven't recognized them for 35 years, longer.
When I was in my early teens, when I just developed this addiction for politics, Tennessee was a solid Democrat state. And I ended up going down to just walking into a couple of campaign headquarters. I talked to several Democrat politicians. They were all sane individuals. Talked to Ray Blanton, if you remember him, the former governor who I believe he did a little time in prison.
He spent some time in the Gray Bar Hell Hotel because he was selling pardons.
He was selling pardons, and that's a whole separate story we'll go into another time.
It's a long story.
But back
Lamar
then,
Alexander, who replaced him, will tell you that story ad nauseum. But it's a good story, don't get me wrong.
But the Democrats were sane back then. They might have had some philosophical differences.
Blanton was crooked, but sane.
Well, we're not talking about crooked. We're just talking about sane.
I know.
Because, crookedness, unfortunately, hits both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, it does.
But now they are just, I would say they're off the deep end, but I don't think the deep end is deep enough to describe them.
They are beyond sane. They are disconnected from reality. Would you like to have one example of that disconnection?
Oh, only one?
So we have plenty. So in Florida, I know you know where I'm going with it.
I do know where you're going.
So the Democrats had a choice between the deceptive, dishonest Alexander Vindman, right, who
would have been the senator from Ukraine.
Yeah, right, and this crazy leftist DSA member Angie Nixon. Now, as it turns out, Angie had served in the Florida House of Representatives. Would you like to see her conduct in the Florida House of Representatives?
I've seen this. Yes,
this is fun.
She inspired the Tennessee Three.
Angie Nixon, making a point of sorts. Here we go. Okay, so if you're not watching it, she's got a bullhorn, and she's walking up and down the chairs, the desks of her fellow members of the Florida House of Representatives. These are people who belong in insane asylums.
Yeah, and these are people that should not be in the halls of government. It wasn't that long ago. People conducted themselves on both sides of the aisle with a certain degree of decorum because you want people to respect you as a leader.
Yeah.
But these people, I mentioned the Tennessee Three.
Yeah.
And
Justin Jones, Justin Pearson, Gloria Johnson.
Yeah, and they did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then during the special session in the Tennessee State Legislature, Charlene Oliver in the State Senate got up on her desk and started.
Was she dancing?
I don't know what she was doing. She was making moves.
There were moves,
and
for a certain kind of dance.
I don't know what she was doing other than she was trying to make a point. Obviously, she was being disruptive, as were a number of other Democrats.
She's been punished, and now she's threatening to sue over her punishment. Good luck to that.
I think the punishment should have been expulsion, but my vote doesn't count on that.
Okay, so. Crazy. The Democrats are looking for insane people to promote policies that are anti-American, destructive. Would you like another example?
Oh, yeah. And other than Graham Plattner?
So the mayor of Boston, Massachusetts.
Michelle Wu.
Now, the mayor of Boston, Massachusetts, used to be like James Michael Curley, right? The guy from the model for the Last Hurrah. Used to be Kevin White, an Irishman. Used to be Thomas Menino, Italian guy. Now it's Michelle Wu, who was born, I think, in Chicago and then moved there. But she wants to dox her own citizens. Listen to this clip 7.
We, as a city, will be filing another FOIA request for any responses that have come in from the Boston area so that we know what information they may be sifting through. We strongly oppose any expansion of their efforts here and would encourage and will be reaching out to property owners to try to make sure that they're not adding to a surge of unlawful and dangerous activity.
You oppose, but can the city actually block it?
So we've signed an executive order around public property, as have 7 other surrounding municipalities, as has the governor. We cannot block private property, but we will be contacting property owners to make sure they understand our view on how dangerous this could be for our residents, and that this is not a way to make our community safer.
And when you say you're FOIA-ing this information, it sounds like you're looking to find out who's responding, and will you be reaching out to those business owners, what have you, directly?
We look to find as much information as possible about what their plans are, what information they might be looking at in order to have the best possible response and protect our communities.
This is a communist Kafka-esque operation. The FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, you can file that request with any federal government agency, and she's basically filing this request with the Department of Homeland Security to get the names and addresses of private property owners in Boston who are leasing their parking lots for the parking of ICE vehicles. And then she's going to go after them.
Nice property you have there, comrade. Be terrible if something happened to it. But yeah, she is acting like a tyrant, which is what all leftists want to do. They want to be a dictator. She wants to be the dictator of Boston, and she's working really hard at it. But, here's the question that real Americans ought to be asking themselves, if they haven't been already. Why are these people so invested? When I say these people, I mean the left.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they so invested in protecting illegal aliens? Why? Well, there's a couple of answers. Number one, they believe that is their growth to a majority vote for them, but also the grift is for them. I did earlier this year, I was playing with some of the numbers that were available, and I did sort of a quick and dirty estimate. And my estimate was that there's about $1 trillion a year in federal government spending that purely goes to waste, to quality layering centers.
It's grift.
Yeah, it's grift.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the Democrat Party is now. It's a communist, Marxist grift.
It is. And, since U.S. aid was cut out, shockingly enough, the Democrats don't have any money. I wonder how that happened.
Wonder what happened there.
And, but it's frustrating that President Trump has 4 years to try and kill this. And
well, in two and a half years now.
Yeah, he has a 4-year term, and he's been fighting it, and he's starting to get the court victories he needs, but still, it takes time. And of course, they're just hoping and praying. Of course, they pray to the state or Karl Marx, but they're hoping and praying that they can outlast President Trump, and that come 2028, or actually January of 2029, they'll have a Democrat-controlled Senate, a Democrat-controlled House, a Democrat-controlled White House, and they can just turn the faucet on. But if they only had it on halfway last time, they will turn it on full blast this time.
And then if that happens, you're going to see kind of a literal breakup of the country, I think. You're going to have red states like Tennessee, Florida saying, no, we're not doing that. Yeah. And it's not going to be pretty, but that's where we're headed, I think.
If we have that, it will end up being a civil war, because the one thing you can take to the bank about leftists, they never voluntarily give up power.
Yeah, they won't.
Or as somebody wise said, you can vote your way into socialism, but you got to shoot your way out of it.
As an example of crazy leftists, let's go to clip 5. So the Muslim communist Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, wants an ICE agent who lives in Texas deported to Minnesota. Governor Abbott has a few other words to say. Let's see what he has to say.
Well, first of all, I don't trust Tim Walz on anything, let alone something like this. But listen, while they're making demands, I got a demand of my own. And that is, it's time for Minnesota to step up and repay the United States of America and Americans for all the fraud that they've committed in their state under federal programs. And I will not respond to them at all until they step up and do what's right, and they acknowledge their fault in the fraud that took place, and they fully repay the United States of America for the fraud they committed.
Yeah, we're headed to huge confrontations between red states and blue states, and that's kind of the opening act there.
And this is one of the reasons I've said on the show before why I favor a national divorce, a peaceful breakup, because if we don't have a peaceful breakup, I fear we will have a unpeaceful breakup.
Well, that's why, as they say, this midterm election is the most important election of our lifetime. Could well be, and it'll be followed by the next most important
Once
election.
again, it is a Flight 93 election, and 2028 will be a Flight 93 election. And
when we come back, talk about I've got this clip of a brave 12-year-old kid from Texas who told the school board they were doing something unconstitutional. Back after this.
Ponder this. Most people want to have a good day every day. In order to do this, we must start our day with gratitude and keep an attitude of gratitude throughout the day. I offer you my recipe for having a great day and a joyful life. First, start each day being grateful that the Lord has given you another day to serve Him. Roll yourself out of bed, get on your knees, and say a morning prayer of thanksgiving. Ask the Lord to help you throughout the day to do whatever His will is for you. Next, thank God for the little things that make your day better. I thank Him immensely for my morning coffee and for my legs that allow me to take a morning walk. I pray for those who cannot walk because of age, injury, or disability. Throughout the rest of the day, I am grateful for the people God has placed in my life. I thank Him for those who love me, and I pray especially for those who do not love me. Find ways in your day to thank God continually and offer prayers for all those the good Lord has placed in your daily path. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Soul Tea. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Soul Tea for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Soul Tea. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Wagering at its finest. Playing at the highest levels, under the highest stakes, for more than a decade. This is the world Past the Wire has conquered, bringing you uncompromised thoroughbred authority and elite track data that anchors the game. But the modern wagering landscape is expanding. Every sport, every line, every prop, and every high leverage future, we decode the metrics across the entire board. From game day spreads to the explosive new frontier of prediction markets and event contracts, we give you intelligence to dominate the modern financial exchanges. Because in the end, it's a battle. You versus the house. You versus the other players. In this arena, we fight with you. We are your ultimate edge. Welcome to the Ultimate Wagering Network. Subscribe to Past the Wire TV and turn on notifications, because when the dust settles,
nobody does it better.
Saturday morning, 6 on the radio, 11 on JFMN.TV.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
A quick question for our guest, Judson Phillips. So, Judson, Darlene Graham, the younger sister of Lindsey Graham, who died just recently, was appointed to fill out the balance of Lindsey Graham's term. He was up for election. There's a special election to replace him. I think she made a mistake by running for a full term because she was in a debate last night. They asked her a simple question. What's your national security policy? And she said,
I don't know.
How do you do that?
It's unbelievable. Because when you're running for a high-level office like federal U.S. Senate, you don't just walk into a debate. It's not like you just came off the street, they plop you in a chair, and you rock and roll. You prep for this. And I don't mean just reading a briefing book on it. They do mock debates. They give you canned responses. And when she comes out with she was asked about Taiwan and the national security implications of defending Taiwan. That's a major issue. Charleston is a big Navy base.
Got to at least try.
Yeah. And she just came up with, well, national security is not really my strong suit. And,
she lost the election.
She lost the election. In the
Ralph Norman, by the way, who's a strong conservative, was ahead in the polls.
Yes.
And is likely to win the runoff.
And Phillips' rule of politics number 3, you always vote for the upgrade.
And
Ralph Norman is an upgrade over Lindsey Graham. He will be an upgrade over Darlene Graham. And so he's really solid. So the good news is he should win, barring anything really unforeseen that we're not expecting.
He'll win the nomination.
Yeah, he'll win the Republican nomination, and then he will go to November and win a full 6-year term in the United States Senate, which he will be, again, a tremendous improvement over Lindsey Graham. Graham had his good points, but he also had a lot of negatives, and we will get a lot more out of Ralph Norman than we got out of Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, I think you're right. If she loses this, does she stays in the office? I guess. I mean,
she
stays till January, right?
She is appointed to serve the balance of his term. So whenever this Congress ends in January, that is whatever her last day is, January 2nd, January 3rd, whatever it is. That's her.
She made a mistake running for the full seat.
To quote somebody famous, she was not ready for prime time.
Not ready at all. Not ready. I'm sure she's a nice person, but you need more than that.
That's what everybody who's been commenting on this has been saying, that she seems like a really nice person. She seems like she's patriotic. As one person, I was looking at their article, they said she seems like a God-fearing woman, but her performance was horrible. And it's not what you're going to ask for, what you want out of someone who's going to be one of 100 leaders in America, obviously in a group of the 100 most powerful people in the world.
Yeah. Now, Ralph Norman is a tried and true and proven conservative.
Oh, absolutely.
He's been around for a long time, hasn't he?
He has been. I forget how long he's been in Congress now, but he's got a very solid track record. And if I remember correctly, I didn't look up his bio before we came online, or before we came on the air. I believe he was in the South Carolina legislature before that. But regardless, he's been in Congress for a while. Very solid conservative voting history, voting record. He stood on the right side of issues, which unfortunately a lot of times Lindsey Graham did not. And, we're just now starting to see how Darlene Graham would vote.
And it's very troublesome because, John Fredericks, who hosts here and owns this network in the morning, has made a very good point about this race between Darlene Graham and Ralph Norman. He said, I know Ralph Norman. He's a solid guy. I don't know how Darlene Graham would vote in so many cases. And she just proved it last night.
Yeah.
Right?
Right now, a vote for Darlene Graham is a massive vote for uncertainty. And fortunately, a lot of South Carolina folks know Ralph Norman. And so he is the candidate of certainty. And he will be the upgrade once he gets elected.
Trump, his endorsement record is faltered a bit. I don't think it's necessarily because of him, but I think it's because of, he sticks with certain people, like Corey Mills, right, in Florida, who's got all sorts of problems.
He's got a
lot
of problems.
Corey Mills got just stomped in the primary. He's out.
Yeah, he's
right.
Yeah.
Andy Ogle's here. Different issues, but he's out.
Yeah.
In Tennessee. And now it's interesting because he said that he backed Darlene Graham for the Senate just in respect for her brother. That's
not good.
I tell you the other thing, though. So Ralph Norman in 2016 first backed Scott Walker and then backed Jeb Bush when Donald Trump was there. So I think maybe there's a little bit of that hanging over with
there
Trump.
could be. Trump neither forgives nor forgets. But also some of his endorsements just baffle me. He just endorsed Maria Salazar in Florida.
Ooh,
she is the leading Republican
open border.
for amnesty
Yeah.
and open borders, who would literally reverse everything Trump has done on fixing our borders.
And
if she had her
remember,
way.
back in 2022, he endorsed the recent arrival of Morgan Ortagus in the 5th District, and she didn't know the main thoroughfares in Nashville.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Donald Trump, I think he still goes down as a great president,
good, yeah.
but some of his endorsements,
A little
I
bit
just
hard to figure out.
sit
Hey,
there
up next,
and go,
Justin Phillips, thanks for joining us today. Up next, Katz and Cosby. Got to read Cosby. She's fantastic. John Catsimatidis, he's great. Got to get him on the show a little bit to cross-promote. All right, I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today.